Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, we've got the Premier here in... I've got the Premier here in studio. I must say, Premier, this is a surprise. Because I thought we were just going to give you a call. And he just walked in here. So thank you. You were driving past.
Yes.
And then you just stopped by. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thanks, Madam.
So I'm still struggling, Premier. And I want you to help me and the listeners understand this announcement that you made about sharing resources. So law enforcement agencies are going to be under one banner. How is this going to improve efficiency?
In many ways. And thanks for the opportunity, Madam. Let me give you one example. You have to clean Johannesburg CBD. And a lot of real scary criminal activities that are happening there. And Johannesburg EMPD say they've got 4,000 personnel. And of the 4,000, 2,000 or odd must do their work. And you need almost 18,000 just to flush out the problems in Johannesburg. Where do you get additional personnel? You have to get it from other neighboring municipalities so that they can assist you. That assists you to really invade and clean an area once and for all. Two, these boundaries, let's be frank, sometimes they are boundaries because they are boundaries and they don't work. You got a criminal that is in Germiston, he just rushed over to Johannesburg, and Germiston no longer have authority to chase that criminal. And that's a serious act, and you lose track, and you lose the support.
So the law says once they cross over, you have no jurisdiction.
Yeah, we have no jurisdiction. You've got, but the law enforcement agents forces it, but... Yeah. You lose many cases.
In court.
You lose many cases in court in terms of that. But there's no municipality that can fight crime alone. There's no province that can fight crime alone. Why can't we put all our resources under one basket and use firepower that we have at our disposal to really clean our province? If you can't solve crime in Gauteng, you're not going to solve it in the country. And we have lost many things. If I can show you, sorry, Madam, the number of people that are leaving our province, the number of properties that have been on sale now because people can't stomach this problem, the number of families that believe they can't raise their children here, you can't use old formats. You have to bring new ideas and present those ideas. I know people will criticize us that these are nice to have and other things, but in reality, we are starting to put a good proposal. And I want to thank also the private sector security. They've come on board in full force, and they've put the investment in dealing with this kind of effort. So we've signed that agreement with all municipalities without any hesitation. All municipalities are on board. So if there is a serious thing that is happening in the West End, you can't leave it to the law enforcement of West End alone. You can pull all this firepower of the province and go and assist.
Who can pull this firepower? Can I do that as a citizen, or is it a decision that is made by a law enforcement in that particular municipality to say, hey, we need extra support?
Well, and they always accuse me, this law enforcement agencies, that Premier, every time you speak, you really leak our security network and networks. We meet every Tuesday, Madam H, every Tuesday without failure. All these law enforcement agencies, from the police, municipalities and all these things, to plan ahead on all the things that we need to do. So we are under the direct command and control of the SAPS, all of us, because we need to have one command. The only thing that we need to do is to amass the resources that they need. And there's 5 areas of resources. It's personnel, which is very key, because we need human bodies for you to deal with these things. It's the infrastructure, the communication infrastructure, because some of the communication infrastructure is compromised. It's the assets that we need, the cars that are up to date and helicopters that we need so that you can be in a position to be there when you are needed. It's the relevant legislation, because what we need to do, we want to modernize bylaws of all these municipalities to be the same. We've done with Spanza Shop. It was a trial run. It worked. All the bylaws of Spanza Shop now in Gauteng are similar. So we are going on cable theft. We are going on the, all things related to traffic lights and all those things. So we are modernizing that as well, because it's very, very important to know whether you've got the legal power to intervene and deal with this particular aspect that we have. But ethical conduct. Because that is key. The reason why our law enforcement agencies are not taken serious, people believe that Either they don't take their job serious or they can easily be bribed.
Yeah.
So we are working on ethical conduct as well, so that is uniform across the province.
So municipal bylaws, as you say, are different, right?
Yeah.
In different municipalities. When are we likely to see this formalized? Because you've only announced that there's they've signed an agreement of cooperation. It's not really formalized. When does it come into effect?
We made the announcement yesterday. We have been meeting in the last 4 months because we wanted to be sure before we make the announcement. We didn't just make an announcement now. In the last 4 months, we've been having operations together with law enforcement agencies. We've cracked cash heists. We've cracked hijackings. We've cracked many serious crimes because of this cooperation. So it was working as cooperation, but we felt that let's have a document that will ensure that it's not only cooperation is documented. We have passed that stage, and that's the reason why we made an announcement yesterday.
How are you going to deal though with the bylaws that are different? Because
they're not necessarily different. Let me tell you, I've gone through all of them. For example, on the Spanza shop, the Sidibeng one, Sidibeng district can say notify in 7 days before you close. The other bylaws, they will say 21 days, not 7 days. The other one will say 14 days. So we'll then have to harmonize them. If you say it's 14 days, it's 14 days across. It's longer, but the law enforcement part is there. Yeah. For example, which is key, which is the one that we are putting our energy on, is the scrap yards. There is a national legislation on how to manage scrap yards, how to record the scrap that you receive. But when it comes to bylaws to have inspectors, it's different qualification for you to be declared an inspector.
Yeah.
You might find one municipality wants you to be trained for 3 years, the other one wants to be trained for 2 years. So we need to harmonize all those things. So we've started to identify things that we can start with, not all of them, things that we can start with that can assist us to fight this monster of crime in our province.
Why not focus on capacitating law enforcement in the various provinces? And what about the wardens that you announced? When they're supposed to fill the gap, is this an admission that has failed?
No, necessarily. Wardens, remember, they're a force multiplier. If you had the roadblock, you don't want somebody to turn back when there is a roadblock. You put them there to stop that. You leave the police to doing policing at a soccer match and concentrate on real maps. So you put your wardens there. For example, if a traffic light is not working, you don't put law enforcement there. You put the wardens there. If somebody needs to be escorted from a taxi rank so that they're not marked, you can't put a policeman. You put wardens. They've done well there. I mean, they are present in many areas. But I'm glad you're putting the issue of capacity. Capacity means pull everyone on board. I mean, if you move from Ekurhuleni, from 5,000 law enforcement agencies, and you can amass close to 30,000 law enforcement agencies, you can clean that Germiston overnight. We need to clean it. That Germiston, it's bad. That Hillbrow, it's bad. That part of the... So you can't go there with 300 policemen. You need the entire firepower to invade and clean those particular areas. And that's the intention. And there will be critics, Madi Major. I always say, you can't do things the same way and expect different results. Now that we are changing the format, take, for example, we've got 456 people that we have profiled. We are surveilling them using cloud, using satellite. We know where they are, what they are doing. We can listen to their conversation legally and get the legal judges to give us the right to listen to them so that we can pounce before they pounce. Unlike the old method, wait for somebody to bomb an ATM, now you chase after that person. Now we've got the capabilities of ensuring that we stop this thing before they happen. And it's not going to be easy because we work within the laws. But we have to try something that will assist us to fight crime. Crime is out of control. We are even scared of our own shadows in our own houses.
Yeah, and at least you guys have bodyguards, Premier.
Not always.
Hey, at least sometimes.
Not always.
Many South Africans every day don't even have.
Not always.
Can I just ask? I want to take just 2 calls from some of our listeners. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take the latest in Eyewitness News headlines first. It's 9:32.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
22 minutes before 10 o'clock. It's the 702 open line. The Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi popped into studio this morning. And before he leaves, I just want to give you an opportunity to ask some burning questions based on the State of the Province address yesterday. So your calls on 011-883-0702 WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Oh, and Clement, another thing. Panyaza did not touch on the whole e-hailing permit situation happening in Gauteng, because people are seeing it like as if it's a Tshwane problem. It's a Gauteng problem because it happens at the airport, it happens in Benoni, Boksburg, it happens in Centurion, it happens in Pretoria as well. Can you please find out about the e-hailing as well?
Okay, I'll do that. Before the Premier responds, let's hear from Busa in Alberton. Busa, thanks for your call. Good morning. What's your question?
No, good morning, Clement. My question is with the Premier Day. I want to ask about those traffic warders. When are they going to be permanent? Are they permanent or not? Because I'm working with them as an SAPS. Because they told me that they are still getting the stipend of 6.5, and they don't get the benefit of those medical aid like others. I want to ask the Premier if whether it's intent, because they told me that they are going to go and sign another contract again. So it's been 2 years I'm working with them. They are still signing those contracts. When are they going to get be permanent? Or they're never going to be permanent?
Okay.
Or when they're going to get the benefits?
Got it.
Thank you, Clement.
Got it, Busa. Babzulu in Diepkloof, what's your question? Hi.
Bengicela ukubuza ukuthi angimzwanga kakhulu ngabantu bamatekisi.
Yeah.
Abantu bamatekisi uhamba nefamily yakho balayishile, bafike bakumise, bathathe bafuna imali, bathathe nenqola yakho. Noma mhlawumbe niyahamba nemncwabo nilayisha abantu ekhumbini yasekhaya, bafike bayithatha bakumise, awusakwazi ukuphumela emncwabeni. Kungani angazange kuthinte lokho na?
Siyabonga Babzulu in Diepkloof. Thank you. Premier, let me just take these three for now.
Thank you.
One is about e-hailing permits. In Panyaza, they're going to be permanent, and how you're addressing the issues with taxis that are sometimes really taxi associations that are a law unto themselves.
No, it's bullying. The taxi industry, we need to appreciate that they're rendering a very good, important service in our communities. But unfortunately, there are grey lines. I know even the scholar transport drivers are complaining that the taxi industry is intending to take over that market. There is a serious war that is taking place in Zonke Zizwe that has been brought to our attention. So the entire taxi industry violence, we've elevated into our war room. We're attending to it. The reason why I didn't make public pronouncement of it, I don't want to make public pronouncement of something that we have not felt it and we know that it will happen. But there is an urgent need to intervene in the taxi war. I mean, in Soweto, it was almost a year where people could not use taxis because there was a real battle between the taxi association. This goes also to the e-hailing. The e-hailing regulation from national to local authorities needs serious intervention. He's right. It's not a problem of Tshwane. It's a problem all over. The MEC responsible for transport has put up a task team that is dealing with this matter. As soon as they conclude their work, we requested them to move with speed, because the executive mayor of Tshwane has raised it with me as well, that they believe that the delays of some of the licenses is provincial government. So we've asked them to put a permanent dedicated team that can meet daily to deal with the matter and resolve them.
Okay.
The traffic wardens, remember it was a new concept. If it's a new concept, it means that it has to go through regulations, vigorous regulations. We only got approval of the regulations almost a year ago. So for now, they're still in training. They're still in training for the purpose of ensuring that when we deploy them, we'll know what deploying them for. But the issue of benefits are there. For example, if somebody died within the workplace, we'll be in a position to provide the necessary benefit. It's just as of now, until we made a public pronouncement, they're still in training. So we'll utilize that angle, and that's why they have to sign new contracts if the old contracts have expired. But we're meeting with the relevant law enforcement agencies to assist us on how best to deal with this matter. For example, the mayor of Johannesburg has written to me to say, Premier, we need law enforcement, the traffic wardens to be absorbed in Johannesburg to broaden the number of Johannesburg. So the processes that we're dealing with it, I'm meeting with the mayor to attend to that.
They're
issue.
already in Johannesburg? The wardens?
They're all over.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they want to be absorbed to, say, EMPD or work with EMPD and other things. So we're looking at all those avenues. But I want to thank them. I mean, these are young people that were unemployed before. Today they're employed on the basis of the interventions that we've made. Thanks, Madam.
And there's a question about the e-hailing. and what you
And that's the one I'm saying, the MEC for transport.
permits and okay.
Yeah, if put up a dedicated team to clear those permits and clear the grey areas about those permits.
Okay, just lastly, there are two last quick questions.
Yeah.
Lerato in Johannesburg, quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure.
Good morning, Dr. Lesufi. I appreciate the amalgamation plan of the Metro Police,
Yeah.
but I find you quite mute in speaking about the issue of foreign nationals, because you're speaking about Johannesburg, and you made reference to say if we fix Gauteng, then it's going to translate into the whole country.
Yeah.
But how are you going to fix it when we still have such an influx of foreign nationals in the province? Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Lerato. And the last one from Maria in Hazelwood. Maria, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Clement. Good morning to our Premier.
Yes.
I wanted to ask a question related to health in Gauteng. It seems to me that the post in Gauteng has been frozen for health workers, and I think also which should include the doctors and the nurses and also allied workers. If you look at recent reports, specifically around Tembisa Hospital, they've also mentioned that from the beginning of this year, 2025, more than 200 health workers, including doctors and nurses, have resigned due to, overload of work and also poor infrastructure. So what I wanted to find out from the Premier is what is being done in terms of appointing people into positions in health. And this is separate from the issue of the newly qualified interns and consults.
Yeah. Are you in the health
doctors.
sector, Maria?
Yes, I'm in the health sector.
Okay.
So it's something I know about.
Yeah, thank you so much for the call and your questions, Maria in Hazelwood. Premier?
Yeah, the health sector is under pressure. The numbers are huge. We just have to keep up. And that is why in the speech, we are speaking about the technology that we need so that people don't have to come to our hospitals to collect medicine, for example, that we can take it to them so that we don't have long queues, and that we are modernizing our ICU units, and maintenance of other hospitals. But in terms of personnel, I met with the DINOSA personally, with the MEC. We have a plan to accommodate all those new doctors, but also to fill up the vacant posts. We've identified critical vacant posts. We want to start with them. So when the MEC responsible for finance table his budget, that aspect will be clear and it will come very clear. So I'll tell those that are within the health sector, especially in our province, we are quite aware about those vacancies, but we're putting the necessary financial solutions to those problems. In terms of foreigners, it's something that is above my pay level on the basis that's a national issue. I've raised with it. I've indicated, and it's in the speech as well, that we're meeting with the president and the entire executive. So the president is bringing his cabinet to Gauteng. He's meeting with us for 2 days with the Gauteng cabinet. And high on the agenda is the issue of the management of movements of foreign citizens and illegal documents. Because, documentation is managed at national level, and our facilities are indeed overstretched by the presence of foreign citizens. I want to give you an example, Madimeja. Almost close to 6 billion was taken away from our budget because Stats SA said we've got 16 million people in Gauteng, only to find that when they count again, it's 15 million. Out of that, a budget was removed. But me and you, we know that when they count South Africans. Those that are not South Africans are not counted. So our facilities are overburdened, but the budget is removed on the basis that the numbers are not the way they are. So we're meeting for 2 days with the president and his cabinet, and high on the agenda those issues. And I think we'll include what Lerato has indicated here as part of an issue that needs to be resolved.
Are you confident that the budget will pass? We're not going to see deja vu like what happened in Parliament?
Remember, we are running a minority government deliberately on the basis of the arrangement that we have. So it means that before you pass the budget, you must have extensive lobbying. So we've started the lobbying, but 3 of the political parties that are outside have already indicated their willingness to support us with our budget. Obviously, there are 1 or 2 things that they want us to change in the budget.
Yeah.
And if we change those, I think our budget will be passed.
All right. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much very much.